This is the story of the unfortunate events that occurred on June 23rd, 1900, 124 years ago, and how those events still haunt me today. June 23rd, 7:10 p.m., the northbound Southern Railway number 7 departed Macon, Georgia with 2 coaches and a Pullman sleeper car or dining car attached. Engineer J.T. Sullivan was filling in for the scheduled engineer whose daughter had come down with pneumonia. The train arrived on time, where it would normally be coupled with the connecting train from Columbus, Georgia, and hauled to Atlanta. However, the train from Columbus did not arrive on time, and number 7 kept on pushing towards Atlanta. The rains were heavy, and the passengers were nervous about the weather conditions. When Engineer Sullivan got word of this, he said, "We'll either be having breakfast in Atlanta or hell." An express freight cleared the bridge and number 7 followed. It left McDonough and headed north around 9:45 p.m. The train came across the Camp Creek trestle. The brick supports of the bridge had been washed away by the creek due to 23 days of torrential rain. The engineer tried to apply brakes, but it was too late. The bridge collapsed under the weight of the train, plunging 60 feet into the creek below before bursting into flames. It killed 35 to 37 of the 45 people aboard. Only the Pullman car was unburned, and all 10 of the survivors were in that car. The locomotive and 2 coaches splintered on impact. The flagman, J.J. Quinlan, scaled the embankment and used rope to save 2 women. He ran to alert the local telegraph operator in town before passing out in the office. The bodies of the dead were not able to be recovered until the next morning, when the flames died out. Bodies were pulled from the wreckage, and the square was used as a makeshift morgue until relocated to funeral homes. That crash is referred to as the Titanic of Georgia, and I hope the families and the victims and everyone harmed in that incident rest in peace. Now, if you made this far in the video, thanks in advance. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button when I'm done. So, let me tell you how this story relates to my life in the future. So, my son was about 1 at the time, and I just put him down for a nap. I go in the kitchen, do some dishes. I hear one of his toys going off. I'm thinking to myself, he's gotten out of the bed, and now he's playing instead of taking a nap, because he was an escape artist. Next thing I know, I'm going to his room to put him back to bed, and as I hit the doorway to his room, the toy stopped going off. What toy, you ask? It was the sound of a train. I know. My son had this little cardboard puzzle with pegs in it. Train, plane, car, helicopter. And every time you pulled the pegs out, it would make the sound of whatever vehicle it represented. One thing I noticed, 1, my son is in the bed. 2, the closet doors are closed. And 3, this puzzle, it was up on a high shelf where my son could not even reach. And nobody else was there but me and him. So I take the puzzle down. I look at it thinking one of the little pegs must have been dislodged. They're not. I shake it because I'm thinking to myself, how could that have happened? So I wrote it off that something must have knocked into it and it went off. This happens again, probably about 2 weeks later, but this is the thing. It's on the same shelf and there is no one home but me. My kids and I have seen a lot of strange things, seen and heard. Our washing machine has gone off by itself when there are no clothes in it and nobody has turned it on. Our vacuum has gone off by itself when no one's touching it, nothing's around it. It's plugged up, but no one is close to it and nothing falls on it for it to come on. And also, when my son was 2, the same child, he was sitting in the living room playing with his toys, and the next thing I know, he's pointing kind of far off, and he's staring kind of far off into the distance. I can see him from my bedroom, and I said, "Baby, what are you doing?" And he says, "Mommy," and he points to the window. There's a patio door with long patio blinds, and as I'm coming into the room, I see the patio blinds do this. And they come to a stop. There's no vent, there's no draft, there's no fan up front. So I don't know how they were moving. But my oldest son also noticed it. All of us got a really eerie feeling. A lot of times when we are there alone or it's late at night, we kind of get these weird feelings like someone's watching us. I've even been on FaceTime and people have asked me, "Who's that there with you?" when there's no one in the house with me. So I don't know if that's related to the train crash, but I've heard from a lot of business owners in the McDonough area that there's a lot of crazy and weird stuff that happens. People have seen a weeping woman coming down the streets of the square at a certain time of night. The clock tower that bells at midnight. Sometimes people will see things going, like shadows and things going across the square after that clock tower dings at midnight. I've experienced my own things, but the major thing is that it was a horrific accident, and I hope that all of those souls rest in peace. Thank you for watching.